Could be wrong.
They're not going to tumble, baby.
Send it. Nuke it.
Look at the 4 hour. It's a fucking double.
I know. It's scary for
stronger
shorts.
signal than your 1 minute double bottom you're trying to long.
I'm trying to get out of this short.
Okay. Oh, and we're live.
And we're live.
Just talking that shit to my boy. All right. So we're in episode 12 of the correction, and y'all caught me talking some of that shit to my boy Cheese. How you doing today, Cheese?
Just getting wrecked in my shorts. I was getting wrecked in my longs earlier. Got wrecked. Went short. Now I'm getting wrecked. You know.
That's a little context for that little debate we were having. Basically, earlier today, before I went to work, my scalp king here was longing the corn.
That's right.
Might as well pull up a little chart so people can see what you're doing.
Let's take a look.
Take a peek. I want to see, what are you doing over there, Scalpy? And he was longing it on against what looks like, pretty bearish. But he's like, no, man, we got a double bottom here in the 1 minute. I was like, I zoomed in. It was true. It was a double bottom.
Well, it was a double bottom on the 1 minute.
Yep. And I came and, and you got wicked out, and that, fair enough. That was a nasty wick right through the trend line, closed above. I was like, okay, fair enough. Tapped on the 4 hour 200 moving average, which is actually part of what we're going to talk about today on the show. So if you're interested in moving averages, they are a very popular trading tool, a lagging indicator. So a lot of people don't love them. But if you're onto the high time frame, sort of midterm trade swing type stuff, moving averages are great.
That's right.
But how do you set them up, and what numbers do you choose, and why? I'm going to talk a little bit about that today on the show, and how I actually plan to incorporate them more in my trading, because often I look back at my trades and I was like looking at all this stuff, and it was as simple as waiting for the cross on the shorter time frame moving averages. And as soon as they closed or crossed, for the next month it just went down, and then they crossed bullish, and for the next month it went back up. And I'm like, man, I'm going to really take a look at just simplifying a bit with these. So
absolutely,
I'm going to share with you what I'm thinking about. But first, show them this double bottom, because now I see the double bottom on a 4 hour.
Yeah. So you can see it on the 4 hour. So basically, earlier today, I forget exactly where I was long, somewhere up in the It was as soon as opening happened, up in these hour candles here on the 1 minute. It was just a scalp. And I was, talking, we were on the phone with Professor Don this morning, and he was like, nah, man, go short. It turns out his short was right. We end up nuking. And I thought, okay, there's no way that this is going to hold again, right? This area right here, which I was like, we're going straight through that. We're going to the low 7,000. So I got short right around 76.50, 76.42, somewhere right in here. I think it was a very quick retest of a level lost here. We went down, didn't take any profits, watched it come all the way back up, and now I'm sitting underwater in this short. So it's I'm still holding it right now. We'll see. I mean, it's low leverage, so it's not something to be concerned about. But what I am concerned about is we're starting to gain some levels now, right? So we're gaining this little.
You're sitting right at resistance now, right?
Yeah. So it's not too much to be concerned about, but we are gaining stuff on the lower time frame areas, which is starting to be like, well, should I have held my longs, right? But who wants to hold a long? Because, in this market, because, there are some spots up here we could come test, right? So there's some previous supports that haven't been tested as resistance now. So we could come get those, at which point, I do not want to be in a short from down here all the way up here. I'd rather get out here and then re-short up in this general area around 8,000. So I'm just watching it right now. This still, like I said, it's small leverage, so nothing to be sweating about. But yeah, just kind of watching and seeing.
So it was just a little funny where I was teasing him a bit, because in the time that I left and came back, he had gone from, long on a 1 minute 2 thing to short. And then I think now is short, but now I get home and I'm like, dude, there is an actual double bottom for me, on a higher time.
Caught it on the 1 minute, miss it on the 4 hour.
You're going to go long the 1 minute and then ignore the 4 hour. But, to each their own. Cheese is doing stuff that
I'm basically what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a repeat of this double bottom here that didn't work out right.
Yeah.
So this double bottom was just enough to send you up to retest supports lost. Yeah, basically right here.
Yeah. All right. You know what?
Bottom.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes today. I think we're talking a little bit about Bitcoin in a more general sense, not specifically what scalp you're in right now. Although I did think that was mentionable because I accidentally started the show.
Giving me grief.
Giving you the grief. No, just joking around with you. But all right, so let's take a look at my 4 hour over here. I'm going to steal the screen share.
All right, take it, man.
I still need to do the awkward thing where I look away while I'm screen sharing because I have to use this screen. If I use my main one, it freezes. It's a Mac screen. It's like, I don't know, 5K res, and it sucks.
Too much, man. It's too much.
It just sucks at being shared. I'm not showing, I'm not. Ooh, I need 5K, but it sucks because I'd rather just. No, okay. I really have to be careful. I don't want to crash our stream again. Okay, here's the one. Tab. See, if you share a Google Chrome tab, apparently it works. But not if it's full screen. So there we go. Okay. So I was debating whether I have a tricked out screen, chart, or whether we kind of do it a bit live so that it is a bit educational. So we're opting to do it live.
Let's do it live, man.
And so just to give you some context, right? Here we are. Bitcoin's moving up. And as you can see, it's losing momentum, right? Big move, chill, big move. This seemed like a long time. This was weeks of just like, wow, Bitcoin's going crazy. We were in New York for this. This was consensus. Big dump, fake out, more highs. Big dump, fake out, more highs. And this was our Darth Maul. So that's where I want to start.
Yeah.
Because
we didn't get new highs. We did not get new highs off that one.
No. Well, this
Darth Maul.
Yeah, but that's what that is.
Yes, that. But then we haven't new highs after that dump. Correct.
Now, let me be clear with y'all because my favorite setup and something that I really won't ignore again, and it's something I have to go back to in my journal that, it's about come up with setups that you like. And really, actually today, on one of the things I was learning on one of the videos I was watching in my trade school, he said, like, okay, look, we're level 3 now. It's time to really start thinking about watching one trend market or breakout setup, 1 or 2 ranging setups, and like that's all you're hunting. Find 2 or 3 total setups that you're hunting for and like focus. Don't need to have a moving average setup. You don't need to have VP. Like you don't have to overcomplicate things. Okay.
Right.
And that really spoke to me because I think that's what I've been doing lately, whereas I'm learning all this new stuff and I'm just maybe trying to do a little too much. And if you know me by now, you know that I love my fibs. So, and that's to me, because it speaks to me. It makes perfect sense. It frames the moves. And more often than not, it's incredibly accurate. And I've talked about it before. It's because I think a lot of algos use them. So you drag from top. These things annoy me. They're never quite in the right spot. Okay. So you drag from top to the bottom of the move. Now here, a lot of people were trying to get short, right? It bounced, came up here. And if you drill into these lower time frames, there was some, little like, oh, it's bearish, oh, it's bullish, and everyone's chilling here. And my instincts told me like, this is where the short squeeze comes. Don't go crazy, wait for a proper setup. And sure enough, in the next couple of days, we're going up. And if you zoom in, I'm going to drill into the 1 hour here. And just like picture perfect. Look at this thing. So it comes up, it's chilling. This is actually where our bot went long, and we were a little bit concerned, right? Because with this tweezer top, things are losing steam. I get it. I get why the bot went long here because, it makes sense. Like the moving averages hadn't rolled over bearish. They were still bullish. The volume came in. Maybe we got some of this bullish volume here. And basically right here it went long, and then it started going into profit. And I had been telling myself, let the bot do its work. Stop. A couple of times I sat out early on a big trade. So I ignored my own analysis. And my own analysis said that this is an amazing like RR to get short. Because if you're wrong, you'll know right here. And if you're, if you really want to go to new highs, you could stop out here, be part of that liquidity pool that they sweep sometimes, but whatever. So anyways, look at this. Like you get your market structure. So you got your boom, you get your boom, little head and shoulders. Fake out, comes back in, whatever. If you got short there, you weren't that screwed. But then it came up, and when it failed this and then moved back down, fake out again, that would have been hard not to FOMO into. But basically, when it closes below, right? That's why we say wait for the close, because these didn't close. So yeah, the 1 hour closed and it ended up closing here, but at least now you know that's a confirmed signal. Bro, if you go up short here, look at that, right? So that's the setup, right? You've got your location, which is the RLZ. Okay. Again, this is a lot of the trade stuff that I learned from therationalinvestor.com, from Brian Beamish, the TRI program. I always feel gross if I don't give him a shout out. So shout
That's
out
fair,
to my
man.
boy. Yeah, no, I love the guy, and he's very smart. And it's a little pricey to get in there, but
worth every dollar, right?
It really is. It really is. I mean, he could charge 5 times the amount, and I mean, it's about, I think it's like 1,200 American
for the full program.
For the one level, there's 3 levels. So
okay.
It's nicely, anyways. So he taught me this kind of stuff, and trade your setups, and so really, this is where you can get long, and you can basically ride that thing until you see, until you get your invalidation, like some bullish market structure firing, which has not happened, right? It tried to fire here. We got the thing came up, didn't break the neckline, still bearish, and dumped, right? And now we've got this potential double bottom, which we were just looking at earlier. And I say potential because if it rolls over here, it's not a double bottom. We're still going. If it breaks and closes above here, again,
that's double bottom.
Thinking about necklines, right? If it breaks up and closes above here, well, we just put in a double bottom, and you probably could get long off a retest or close your short, and there was your trade, right? So anyways, this is what I've been watching. Obviously journaling about it. I'm not going to chase, I missed my setup, whatever it happens. It's going to be another one. And it's actually kind of nice. I consider it a paper trade. I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, like that worked. Now I know if I recognize that again, I can say with a fairly confident, vibe, I can get in on that, manage my risk. It's not going to work every time, right? Sometimes it's going to come here and just keep going, but it worked perfectly this time. Picture perfect. And not that I would ever do this, but like, imagine this is like a level where you could think about, like, always think about like 100x, man. You got to be like perfectly right. But you could have, theoretically, I could have a 100x, order here short, and then just have my stop loss right here, small amount, but it's like low risk, high reward, because it's such an exact level. But to be fair, I've done this before, and sometimes it's just like it tops here. And that's your liquidation. So anyways, I did think about that after. I was like, man, that was so perfect that you could almost have had some higher leverage on there. But that's an 8.5% move. That's 85% if you're 10x. Like, something to think about. So where is Bitcoin going from here? Well, personally, I am not shorting it. I'm not longing it. And I'll tell you why. The double bottom is not confirmed. So if that confirmed and then goes here, might be able to get a long up here. But really, on the higher time frames, I feel like we have topped short term. That's my vibe, and I'm sticking to it for now. I would have to see some closes up above. So what am I looking at as far as this setup goes? Do I see another potential one? I will show you what I'm looking for, and I've been talking about this a bit in the Discord today. So we have a new sort of move down. Okay, so you can draw it from here.
Draw to the first one. The first one's lower.
You can draw it from here. Yeah, you can, and you can kind of play with these, and you have to consider that one or two might get the respect. I think it'll be this one, sort of like the last move. But if you go up to a higher time frame, which again, that thing's in the weirdest spot ever. Let's see. Like, really, I'd rather trade the 4 hour. Better signals. Yeah, so arguably it could be here, but that's your 82, 83. I'm actually going to be drawing this from here because you get a safer play. Right. If it reaches this level, that's a better short. If it reaches here, you find out you're wrong. It's the other one. It's like, whoops. So I'll probably, but both technically valid. I mean, this was pre-dump. So I think you're right. That could be the one. Anyways, I mean, you'll see as it gets up here, if it closes here and bounces, I don't feel like we'll stop right here. But the point is, if I'm bearish, which I am short term, midterm, I should say, then, I don't really want to short this just yet, especially after this like strong reaction here, double, especially, a little sweep right here. Like we're ready to move up, maybe find some supply. So Yeah, if we get up here, we start chilling here, maybe get rejected here, then bounce up here, get rejected, like blah blah. And yeah, if I see that bearish market structure fail here, that's gonna be so nice, especially after just missing the last one. I typically wouldn't think, fake out, break and close, get short, right? I typically wouldn't assume I'll get a second chance. I find a lot of these things, you get your sweet chance here. You're like, okay, now this time I'm for sure going to go short. And then, you don't get your bounce. It either just keeps dumping through, you don't get your setup. So I'm a little bearish on my own setup having, but that's what I'm looking for. So as far as where's Bitcoin headed beyond that, my theory, and I know you're going to hate it, don't unfollow me. Just kidding. But, we're not out of the woods yet. I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I think it's a naive to think that the bear market's over. I mean, the bear trend is over for sure. We broke that. We broke that. We started a bullish trend. But, is it just going to be like boom, 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 boom? I mean, maybe. Fundamentally speaking, I would not be surprised if it did. I'd be like, oh, crap. Yeah, man, this stuff is bullish. We're going to the moon. But knowing Bitcoin and knowing the big money and knowing the retail money, like think of how many people FOMO'd in right here. Maybe somebody watching, maybe somebody who's watching.
All of my old Telegram buddies started messaging me back.
Yeah, literally.
Hey,
like
Bitcoin's back.
Hey, I heard Bitcoin's back. Where do I buy that? So, if we get down here, what do you think is going to happen? People are going to start calling bottoms. And if that breaks, how quickly the new lows are coming, that kind of discussion, then a little bit of FUD to encourage it. And some big players, because they do pay for news and manipulate that stuff. It's not a joke. And how easy they could cook up a story. U.S. government considers making Bitcoin illegal. Like that's a story that could very well happen someday, as soon as we're actually relevant and a threat to some kind of bank. And then you've got your, and then maybe we sweep here. I don't see it. Right. I'm bullish. Technically, I think it's crazy to go back down there. We bounced off that 200 weekly MA. Let's see.
Yeah, let's just get into the MAs, right? Because I know that's something you've been studying.
Yeah. Where is it? Profit timing signal MAs. Well, let's just set it up original. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about MAs today. So that's a good segue. Okay, well, here's what I was talking about before. So I mean, we know from the weekly, right? Imagine the bear market was just like this easy. Oh, dang it. I'm on the wrong Bitcoin.
Not enough data.
Gotta go to stamp. Bitstamp. Yeah. Okay. Like imagine the bear market was this easy, right? Oh, I'll just long it when it hits the 200 week MA again. Wouldn't it be nice if we...
That's a beautiful touch.
Isn't that sexy? Like this, like all this panic, all this uncertainty, all this like pain.
They just wanted to come down and test that MA, man.
All it took was to just like chill and wait. So like, what a great segue into moving averages. That was like the bear market.
I tell you what, like the month before April, man, that was boring, wasn't it? That those few weeks where it was just like price wasn't moving. Yeah. Such a boring time.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's because people were buying without being noticed. That's called accumulation, right?
Yeah, if I knew what I knew now, like in the last year, my gosh, what I learned in trading, things as simple as reload zones, right? We've talked about this on the show. Actually, I think the week you were away, I did a lot of this, right? So you just wait, you get your breakout on volume. Don't buy this. Let it retrace, double bottom in the reload. Get that bullish market structure potential, and it breaks out here. Long it or set your bids, comes back down. Now you're long, and you can stay long until you have some kind of bearish
forever.
Yeah, like really though. I mean, set your trailing stop on a high time frame. Don't rush to sell just because of this dump or this little dump. I mean, it's still above entry, and look how hard you would have ridden that thing until you wait for what I want to talk about today, which is some moving averages. So these are the standard ones. You get your 50 and your 200. That's like kind of like out of the box default. I'm going to share with you the ones that I picked up from TRI, which the guy knows what he's doing, and he uses these ones, and I got to say I'm enjoying them a lot. So it's a 13 EMA. Now EMA hugs price a little tighter, and I'll tell you why. If you think about a moving average is like, okay, so if it's a 10 period moving average, just say 10 is an easy number, and you're on the daily, that means it's going to average the price of the last 10 days. Or if it's the hourly, the last 10 hours, right? And they're going to equally average. So it's like 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 divided by 10. The EMA is an exponential moving average. So it counts the most recent candle. Say you have a 10 EMA, it's counting the most recent one 10 times stronger than it's counting the furthest away one.
That's right.
And the next candle away is 9 times stronger than the furthest one away. The other one's 8 times stronger than and the one very far away, the furthest one in the 10, maybe the 10th one away, that's the last one that's relevant in the 10 EMA, is getting like a count of 1. Like it's accounting for 1/10 of the closest one. So in other words, the latest price action influences the location of the EMA, the moving average, at a higher rate, an exponentially higher rate. So that is what an EMA is. Now, the way I have been taught to do this is with the 13 EMA, the 30 MA, and then the 200. So the 200 is there. That's your standard slow mover, gives you a real general bias. And then you get these two faster moving averages that kind of play with each other. And here's sort of what you can do with them. Like, look, you get long here, right? You ride it, and all these little dumps that never cross back. You know, it hugs price, but not that much. And look, and you're staying long, and they still haven't crossed. Technically, they're still bullish, right? I mean, if price double bottoms here in the 4 hour, and we chill here, come back and retest bullishly and below, you know, you're still going to have stayed long this whole time. So
that's right.
And maybe it goes to here, and then you close, and you're like, well, I missed the top. But that's the thing about moving averages and moving average systems.
Especially when you get these large explosive moves that really offset the averages, right? So that's what's causing such a wider gap. And so you've got to let the time elapse between when the big move was, and then kind of like let those averages kind of get smaller and smaller before it'll cross back over. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's sort of like a Bollinger Band, if you in a way where these separate and they get real far apart, and you think, okay, they're going to have to come and kiss soon. They're going to have to stay close. They don't like getting too far away. And sure enough, you know, this is happening here. Then boop, oh, they come back and visit each other. And then you get this big blow off, you know, move up, and then they're getting far away. So now they're going to have to come hang out again. And then if they cross, you know, you'll go from there. And sometimes you get the chop, right? They're not so useful.
That's right.
Here. Oh, long it, short it, oh, long it, short it, oh, long it, short it. So you get chopped up in sort of, this isn't, you know, I guess overall it was a downtrend, but it's a bit choppy here. But then you get these clear trends, dude. I mean, you know, you would have caught some big moves. So that's the moving averages I use. Another fun one that I picked up with TRI is the rainbow.
The rainbow.
Oh, it's a bunch of very small EMAs, 6, 9, 12, 18, 26, 50. These are fun. And you can kind of gauge like, okay, I'm not, you know, you wait for all of them to cross. And then as one or two cross back, you start maybe cutting your position. So it's a little bit more of a complex system. But you've got your slow one here, the 50. And as each one day after day crosses, you're like, oh, we're getting pretty bullish. And then, you know, right here, like price was pretty high. You don't want to long that, but then maybe you're setting your bids, right? So then you're catching your bids here. We're in a bullish market state, and sure enough, off we go. And you're not closing for a little while. I mean, a couple of them crossed over here, but nothing crossed the 50. That's sort of your signal level. Nothing crossed the 50 until probably recently. I'm guessing recently the 50. Nope, not even yet.
None of them.
Not yet. So they're starting to roll over, right? So in this sense, you can see it happening a little sooner.
Maybe take some profits there.
Yeah, exactly. Close out a little bit, and then if it never crosses, you know, you get back in. If it does, you're out and you made profits. So moving averages can be a great way to sort of ride a trend.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get into the fancier sort of lower EMA stuff, mix them up, play with them a bit. I bet you could Google, you know, moving average strategies. Like, the best ones are probably secret, but there's probably some really good ones out there. So it's definitely something to play with. And I want to share why. Personally, this is a trade I made earlier this year. It was like a Twitter trade I made. I actually forgot to put it in my channel. I felt stupid because it ended up being really nice. But the one time I don't post it in my little like RT trades channel, of course. It
destroys people.
So then I can't talk about it because everyone's like, why didn't you share it? But basically it was this. It wasn't up there. It was down here. It was literally like this. Yeah. So like price was here in March, and it dipped into the RLZ. We got the double thing, broke out here, got long, and it aged very well. And I actually had initial set TPs around here, something like that. And then I had it, where was it? Here, up in the 1600 area. And I just closed it. I was like, oh, great trade. And then in the coming days, like it went crazy. And I remember feeling kind of dumb, like how could I have done better? And I painted these moving averages onto it. And sure enough, I could have just chilled. And the thing is, you got to have other reasons too, because if I just closed it on all the crosses, I would have been chopped up here. But at my TP level, they stayed bullish
for a long time.
Didn't cross till here.
That's right.
So maybe I have that TP, but I leave a little bit as a trailing stop or something, and I just decide, okay, I'm gonna wait. There are some platforms you can actually get that will signal you when certain indicators cross. I could have employed something like that. So these are just the kind of things I was journaling with this trade. Whereas like, okay, so for the next 20 years of my life, I'll know this. I'll be more prepared to chase a trend or let a trend ride and then close it when I get my bearish crossover. And sure enough, it was accurate. Bing. So that's a little example from my own trade journal. I wanted to share things you learn in the market. Yeah. So kind of fun. Real quick, disclaimer. Let's fire it up before we forget. And
yes.
What else do we say we're going to talk about tonight? We're headed next. Yeah, we don't really know where Bitcoin's headed, but we had some ideas. Ooh, alts. You've been firing off a couple alts.
Yeah, we've been killing it there in the Discord.
Let's talk about some alts after the disclaimer. I will go down my alt list and watch what I'm looking at in my moving averages. Because look, some of them are starting to cross bullish after a long downtrend. Look at these long downtrends. Some of them are starting.
Don't want to miss it like you missed Bitcoin, right?
No, well, exactly, right? I'm learning and I'm watching now. So look at AGI just crossed yesterday. That could be a little juicy. I don't know. I mean, we were in AGI here, got up
right,
here, dropped out here. We never got back in yet, but like it's just crossing bullish, so we'll see.
The information provided by Bitcoin Bravado and accompanying material is for informational purposes only. It should not be used as a basis for any investment or other purposes. It should not be considered legal or financial advice. The information is given by terms of use. You should consult with an attorney or other professional to determine that what may be best for your individual needs. We are not a registered investment advisor, and we are not recommending that you buy anything. We're simply sharing our thoughts with you along with our plan of attack.
Nicely done. That gets smoother every time. Yeah, I mean, Arter. I don't know what Arter is. I mean, I remember it's like NXT and then they rebranded to Arter. It's an old coin. Real quick, shout out to, I don't know if anyone knows this guy. Josh Rager has hypothesized something on his Twitter, and I'm just going to echo it because I really do want to share this before you get into alts because it makes a lot of sense. And we kind of talked about it last week with the IEO thing. People in this market, it's speculative. It's all bullshit for now. And like, look here. So you've got ICX, right? Crowd favorite, made a lot of people very rich. It went like 100x from its ICO very quickly, like within 3 months. And this was it, going 100x. Because even this was like something crazy. I think 10, right. It launched at like 10x here. And then, I mean, I was in the ICO. I didn't get very rich off it, but I made a good penny. I only put in a little bit, but did well. Anyways, it came down. It's wrecked a lot of people. Like a lot of people bought here. Like, I'm going to buy the dips. And like, there's nothing wrong with doing some of that, but they're wrecked.
Scalp trades.
There's a lot of bag holders and they're getting shaken out here, right? Eventually they're capitulating, giving up, selling. And that's where the shakeout is. But as it moves up, I mean, what is the psychology of a person holding down here from up here? Tell me, what is it? What are you thinking?
Let's get back to break even. And I can dump my bags.
And I'm gonna sell, right?
That's
and I mean, I've literally talked to people in the groups I'm in who are like, man, like screw this coin. When it gets up here, I'm gonna sell. So everyone here is plotting an exit. They're not plotting buys. They're not plotting bit. They're not plotting moon. They're
anyone who bought higher. Yeah.
They're just waiting to provide sell pressure. And so coins like this that have a big old sexy time back here, what new thing do they have that's going to make them sexy and new to go and buy that's going to outperform that sell pressure? I don't think, I mean, someday some of them may come out and have real demand that drives them to the real moon. But my 2 cents is that these will not perform as well. And that was the gist of Josh Rager's thing on Twitter. I don't know the guy, but I mean, he's posted it a couple times. And I got to say, it made me think. Now, on the other side, real quick, because I want you to talk about altcoins because you're the one.
Yeah, we're just going to review the 3 that I spotted this week.
Yeah, for sure.
One of which made it through the Discord. So
yeah, absolutely. No, just before I throw it over to you, on the other hand, you've got seller. Now, there is definitely some people stuck in here that are getting out. Okay. But in general, like, let's zoom out. Seller has no history, right? I mean, kind of a bad example because it has that. But like, look, seller doesn't have that same big, like, massive wall of people that are waiting.
Right.
It's got nothing but blue skies, right? People that are thinking, oh, this is the one. This is going to go to the moon. Fetch 2 struggled because this was like during a big alt downtrend. Okay. But it's got those bag holders. But generally speaking, it's got a moon kind of waiting. Matic is an even better example. Doesn't look like it here, but check this out. This is the joke kind of meme chart I posted earlier today. But like, think about it like there's your perspective. What's up here, right? Is this a test
price
pump?
Discovery?
Yeah. Is this a test pump? And we're just going up. This is like what, 50 mil market cap, 500 mil market cap, which is theoretically possible for a lot of these like Binance-y things. Look at it. 500 mil is like up here, assuming that Bitcoin kept the same price. Like, am I saying, Matic's going there? But it's more likely to get those kind of gains, in my opinion, than ICX, again, who just has a ton of people trying to sell. Like,
sitting on the bottom, yeah.
Who here is pissed off because they're underwater? Not that many. Probably some guy who just bought right here and he's pissed. But in general, the sell pressure is going to be way less. And a lot of people are there's just positive energy. And that's what I'm trying to say. So, Harmony, another example, although it's just nothing yet. But so shiny new toys. That's the theme of 2019 and 2020 for me, because they don't have those community members, aka bag holders. And I am one. Okay. Aeon is one of the few that I held on to, and I still believe in the project, but I've realized as a trader in retrospect, like, I'm done believing in projects. I just want to trade. Give me some Bitcoin, give me an in and out, and I'm done. I don't need to believe in a project to make money in this market. But this thing's going to have a lot of trouble getting back up to its highs if it ever does. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. That's how I see it. And
I love it.
What do you got? Show us what you got.
All right. So we'll show a few trade examples from this week that I spotted and that I thought were good plays. Only one of them ended up making it to the Discord. One issue was I went to bed and woke up to a pumped coin. So let me just share my screen here.
Yeah, you've been pumping some real shitty ones too. What is that, Lunar the other day?
Yeah, man. I don't care what it is. If it moves, we can make some money.
Price don't lie.
That's it, man. Here, let me share a portion of my screen here. All right, here we are. So KMD, right? And so I know that there was some news, something that was released last night, some kind of glitch
bad
in the
news
wallet or whatever.
Cover that, but we're not really a news site, but yeah.
So basically, what was Saturday's? I have my calendar up here. What was Saturday's date? Saturday the 2nd. So I was looking at this thing on the 2nd, on the 1st. Yeah. So on the 1st, the evening of the 1st, I was looking at this thing, and price was, I think, right around this blue line, right? So basically, what I was doing is I was drawing these levels to find a setup, and so I can measure my risk and reward. The blue line was going to be the entry because we had just popped here that evening. We were down here. I said, I think I'm going to do a long on KMD. I was talking to Bitcoin Bravado and all this, because we had gained like this move up here had gained us some stuff, right? So if this is distribution, or if this is accumulation, and then we get above that, then that means like you've gained this area of accumulation. We came back, we had tested it. Then again, we have another little area of accumulation right here. And so this is what I was looking at here. We closed above this here, come back down here to test. And I said, I'm going to put a KMD call out. Missed it. And so the white lines were my targets. And again, this is just simple. Support becomes resistance. Resistance becomes support. And so woke up that morning. We had already hit this level, sold off back down this area. At this point, I was like, well, I'm not going to get back in this trade because, again, a stop out would be, losing this area of accumulation. So all the way down here. But then yesterday or the day before yesterday, we hit the second take profit area. Last night, they released the news, and surprisingly, KMD's actually holding up pretty good. They don't seem to care whether or not there's inherent flaws in their design. So that's KMD. The other one, which we are still in, was ENG Bitcoin. And again, I don't have any particular way that I kind of flip through these things. I just look at it and then I draw some lines and I say, okay, does this look like a good thing to trade? So this one actually, I think my levels are on my other template chart. But basically, what I was looking at is here's your move down, right? You got above this white level here, which is important. You kind of chopping around, and we came back down here, and I think we got long at 54.74. 54.74. We've already taken quite a few profits off. So somewhere down here. It was our entry. Our stop loss was a little bit below the recent lows. And then, so our first take profit was somewhere in this area. Our second one we hit today. 66 area. Yes, it hit this area here. We're basically, what we're doing is we're looking for higher, because what we're now seeing is, okay, so this is the larger move down. This is all now accumulation. And so once you start breaking out, then what you're going to start doing is retracing the move down. So our final take profit is like all the way up here at this yellow line. So,
yep, and actually ENG is one of those ones. With that 2018, they were in the bull market. They ran crazy high. I think up to 60, just about
right,
60,000 sats. So like 10x from here. And there is going to be that sell resistance coming up. But Enigma is, from all that I can remember, a very strong second layer privacy solution. So it's pretty dope. But it's nice to get these nice tight setups in where it's like, oh, I don't care if it goes to new highs because we're taking profit here.
Right. And I mean, I think our third profit was because we took one here. We hit one today. Yeah, it was like right around 20%, 21%. Was our third profit. And I think our next one is
yes, we hit a third one today at 66.44.
Yeah. So all good things. Now, the other one that we didn't get out, and then this one happened so quick, and I was away from the keyboard, and the rest of the analysts were away from the
keyboard. And nobody wanted to do it.
Nobody wanted to do it. Like, nah, geez, like you're saying, this is not going anywhere. I don't even know what these are, man. Again, I'm here for the chart. Just give me a chart, and I'll tell you whether or not I want to make a trade on it. So Lunar here.
It's a 6 mil market cap coin with 700K volume on Binance. It's got moon written all over it.
So here's what I put this up here, because basically, so the blue line was my proposed entry, with the green lines being targets, and we were right here in this red candle here. So we gotten above sort of this area of accumulation, come back, and I'm sure there's an RLZ like right here. If you were to draw a fib here, and then these were the targets. And so I went to bed. I said, hey, guys, we should long this. Went to bed, woke up the next morning and said, hey, guys, all the profits were hit. So there's a quick 20%. Of course, we didn't take the trade, but it's great for educational, good for practice. And as you can see, it basically, I think this all happened within like a 5-minute candle or something like that. It's something just insane.
It's that kind of volume coin that does that. Right? Yeah.
Bing. Got him.
Sellers step in, and everyone who just bought regrets their life, and they sell quick.
You can't get them all, man. And that's the thing, especially as recognizing the market structure of most of this stuff, is we're still in a downtrend for the most part, especially a lot of these alts that made recent lows, in the last month or two. So you're just looking for a quick in and out. Yeah, look at that. That was just a wick, right? But It's a 20% wick if you're long on it.
Now,
so that's the beauty about being in and out of trades. So what that does though is you miss bigger moves, right? So like if you got long in this area, right, you probably, if you trade like me, you probably got out in this area and then completely missed this move, right? So, and then that goes also good for your. Yes, go.
What hurts you more, taking a loss because you held for something more and you didn't get it, or cutting out nice and easy and watching it effing moon?
What hurts me personally more is if I'm in a trade and we're riding, we're going and then we all of a sudden we come back and then I end up taking a loss on the trade. That is for me.
Okay.
I would rather take profits. Like yesterday, right? So I was long in the Discord all day long. And I was looking for I can't remember, 79.35, and price went to 79.31, then came literally all the way back to my entry within like an hour. And I waited all day. And so I didn't get any profit on that. So I think I closed out a little early, right before break even. But man, like that hurts worse than anything is being right, but being wrong at the same time. So I was right about the move, but I was wrong. I was so focused on the exact dollar that I missed it by $4. So.
Oh, like trying your take profit.
Right.
And it came back and jumped down your throat. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I would have rather taken half the profit and then missed the full move of it than watch it come all the way back to my entry. Yeah.
And I think that speaks to a trade setup, first of all, right? Exactly. Where am I going to get long? Exactly where's my stop? When am I going to move it to break even? When am I going to take, all that stuff should theoretically be decided before you get in, and then you should have very specific rules. I'm not trying to tell you this. Really for the audience, but it also helps me because I think it's easy to get cowboy and just start I'm along it because I see something I like and I'll figure out the rest later. And then by the time you're out of the trade, it's often a loser because if you don't plan it properly, it usually doesn't end too well. And then by the time it loses, and then you go to put it in your journal and you're like, wait a sec. I didn't do any of this the right way. I don't have a chart proper setup. What the hell was I doing? And then you got to tell, my Edgewonk journal's what setup did you use? And there's an option that says no setup. And it's
you're like, I don't know.
Such a pleb.
YOLOing.
I was just going long because someone in the Discord said they were long. So I don't know what I think is more painful. I think they're both very painful. I've had both happen to me, whether that's just being wrong and losing, not stopping out, maybe averaging down, losing more and having to cut it. I did that before, obviously.
Yeah, that's also really bad.
I think cutting a winner early, and I mean, we're talking 2017 when shit was going 100x, that is so painful because, it's very easy to get caught up thinking
if I'd have just held.
Could have just held. And ICX is a perfect example. That ICO came out at 10x. It had been 2.5 months, which was a long flip for ICOs. Usually they flipped within a few weeks. So 2.5 months, it came out 10x. And, I had a sizable amount of money. I was like, holy crap, I better take some profit. I kind of panic sold a little. I think 2/5. I sold 2/5 of my bag. Okay. On day one, 5 a.m. It launched at 2 a.m. I sold it right when I woke up. And that's smart. Looking back, what I know now, that was smart. It was good. I secured 10x what I even put in, and the rest was just juice, and I was riding it. But the other 3/5 kept running, and that whole thing, it went 10x to 10x. It went to 120x. And so, and not in 2 weeks. Okay. So for 10 days, I'm sitting there staring, go, and of course, as a newer kind of guy to the market, didn't really have a trading plan, didn't have much of a clue what I was doing other than being in the right time, place, and right time. All I could think about was man, there was literally a $70,000 car in there. Had I just held, had I just held that 2/5 before instead of selling it, there was an extra 70 grand in it, some stupid amount of money. So. That's
one of the worst things to do as a trader.
But you can't do that. Yeah. So if I had a plan that said, follow this, cut your 2/5, then, you trust in your plan. And then you just know in 20 years, compounding gains and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing now. Now I've gone, I took a step back, went to a trade school, learned a little bit about this TA stuff and management.
Reevaluated your life.
Yeah. For about a year, it was just Bitcoin market
Bravado.
analysis. it was a year market analysis and like books and all that, and I think that's great. But I really wanted to get serious, and I think I'll finish today myself talking. You could keep going with a few things if you got some ideas, but the main thing I want to talk about is this quote I saw the other day. Actually, it was on our Instagram. Investment in knowledge gives the best returns. You know, and it's this idea that, you know, I've talked to people like my buddies, you know, maybe they have 10K like sitting in crypto. And, you know, I'll be like, yo, like sign up for this educational thing. Like, let's do some, you know, join the Discord. And like, nah, I don't have the money for that. Like, I'm just going to keep it in my shit bags. And I'm like, dude, like invest in some education, you know,
that's it, man.
Books, buy a notebook, buy a pen, man. Like start reading, you know, because
do something.
In 20 years, you don't want to be like staring at all this, the things you sold early or the stuff you held too long. Like, you know, you want to be improving. So
that's it.
Rant complete. I'm a teacher.
Rant is over.
Education's obviously big for me, and I just think we should all hit the books.
Absolutely. I'm with you. That's a great thing to end on as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could wrap it up for today. One thing we're really bad at, we never say this, but if you guys appreciate what we're doing today, and if you think maybe you learned something or you just, you know, you like us, hit the like button. You know, it's nice
Smash
to see
it.
likes. And if you don't like what we're doing, hit the dislike button. Maybe shoot us.
Don't do that.
Shoot us a DM in the Discord. No, for real though. I want the feedback, you know. Like if you want Scheze to shave his beard, and if he shaved his beard, you would have got the like let us know. Cause like I can arrange
10 Bitcoin. Send 10 Bitcoin. I'll shave
I can arrange that. No, but for real, give us some feedback if you didn't like something or liked it. All ears for improving this and providing
absolutely
with more value. That's the goal. So
absolutely.
Thanks for joining us today. And Mohammed, yeah. He says, sounds like me when I entered the market in 2017. Exactly. Right. I think you come in a little bit raw, and in 2017 was probably a good year to be raw because you could slip and fall.
Long everything. Yeah.
You know,
slip and fall, make money.
Yes. And with that, yeah. All right. Aiden, hit the like button. Yes. And subscribe so you guys get a little a buzz. And I really appreciate that, Noriko. Thanks for shouting us out in the chat there. Feel free to engage if you guys have questions. I am like a ramble machine. I know how to talk and share, and you know, that's half the time I go into school, and I've been crypto so hard that I don't even have a lesson plan.
You're like, I don't know what I'm teaching today, guys.
But I will teach. Oh, buddy, at the end of that class, those kids are like, they have no idea, right? They're like, oh man, that was a really good lesson. Like, I don't do that today. I actually plan these a little bit more than my phys ed class. But anyways, what were we learning about today in phys ed? Oh yeah, how to not blind people with being dumb. Protect your eyes, kids. All right, cheers, fellas. Have a great night.
All right.
And, with that, we are off until next Thursday. Ooh. Okay, now we got the engagement. All right, couple bonus questions here. What is a good trading book do you recommend? I loved the Market Wizards series. I only read the newest one. It is not new, like it's newly released 2012, but it's based on traders from the 80s. So that's like the downside is that it's like all these guys are talking about the commodities and like I was long soybeans and but these are like some OG traders and they crushed. And a lot of them actually started, you know, washing dishes, 3K, wiped their account, went back to washing dishes, 3K, wiped their account. So it's kind of inspiring because now they're worth like 500 million. And then you kind of get to hear from them what they did that's better. So highly recommend that book. Trading in the Zone is sort of the Bible. I hear a lot of people.
That's mine. That's my recommendation. Trading
okay. In the Zone. Stole your fire. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, man. You do that.
I like these like peripheral books. Skin in the Game. I haven't even read. It's behind me there. I have a habit of not reading the books I buy sometimes, but let me show you the.
He likes to collect them.
Yeah, I use this Audible app. It's great. There's one that I really liked that wasn't necessarily about crypto or trading. Super Forecasting: The Art and Science of Prediction. I loved that book. It's actually the one thing on my Audible list that says finished. I ate it up, and it's basically just about the art and science of prediction, and it kind of talks about how random shit is, and I appreciated that. Another one I got in here that's not on most people's lists. Where is it? It's a little more pretentious. The guy talks. It's more like an essay. Dang, where is it? Oh, I don't even have it in here. What the hell?
Lost it.
Oh, fooled by randomness. Fooled by randomness, the hidden role of chance in life and in the markets. Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. That's another interesting book. A bit harder to follow. He's a little more wordy and university type, but it's kind of cool. Guys, maybe you can consider making educational videos like explain the strategies you are using in details and how you're analyzing charts. Yeah, Aiden, we are actually working on that in the background right now. Bitcoin, BTC, Jack Sparrow, and Scheze and myself and some of the other guys are putting together sort of outlines of everything we think somebody should know as a one-on-one or a 101 intro, as well as maybe even some of the more advanced stuff that we do. So we are building that out. It will be a few months, so I apologize for that. But if you have a specific thing like the MAs today, like my fibs, I've done an episode on here. We can always just highlight those in one of the episodes. Ultimately, a live stream won't teach you everything you need to know, but it's a great way to kind of kick you off in the right direction and tell you where to go for more. I was in ICX, sold a big chunk earlier for big gains, and then watched my smaller bag go ridiculously high, and it sucked thinking what I could have held. Yeah, Dean Signori, exactly what I experienced. And it does hurt, but it's the kind of hurt you can't complain about, because you go tell somebody I had a rough day, and then they're like, oh, what happened? You're like, oh, only made 10 grand. They're like, damn it, you asshole. And then you're just like, but I could have made 100. And nobody gets it, right? So it's a weird kind of pain. You are alone in that.
Only other traders can sympathize.
Yeah, tell me how you set your take profit target next time. Yeah, Noriko, I think in a short answer, it's resistance, right? If you're long, you want to have your TP set in expected areas of resistance, because if they never go past it, you got out. And if they do go past it, you got another one. So looking at SR levels, and then of course fib extensions is a great way to do it when it's in price discovery and there are no SR levels. You can use fib extensions. We could talk about that. I don't use them enough. I did learn them and then don't apply them just as much as I should. So maybe that inspires me to get those going. Teach you next week. If you're streaming over the weekend, we'd love to chat a bit about BeakC launch. Oh my God. I think if BeakC launches this weekend, finally, I'm going to have a private stream just for that. Special
hold your breath
and BeakC launch stream. Great idea. It's report card writing weekend for me in my little half-time teaching life. So I'm going to be done those tomorrow. And then I would love to do a little stream on their launch. And do you have an ETA on your one Harmony sell targets?
The moon.
One. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with this one yet. It's a very organic setup. It's literally like day to day, and it sucks. It's not ideal as far as like trying to follow along, but to be honest, I'm thinking more about stop losses on Harmony right now because I don't trust it. It doesn't have the same history that I'd like to see as far as confidence goes. But if it bottomed where it did today, like if this is the pullback, which it actually very much could be, at 316, like we had the perfect entry. So I love that. I love that. We got in at 320. Entry. That was a nice level for you, Scheze, and I loved it because I had the same one. So at 322, 331, we got in. It's now bounced up to 338. If it closes this 4 hour bullishly in an hour, that'll be the daily as well. Like that's great. In which case we'll start discussing take profits. Here's how it's going to work. It's much like earlier in the stream, we talked about waiting for those moving averages to roll over. That's what I want. If this is going to be a winner, I want to let it run. I don't want to sell the top. I don't want to, predict the top. We want to let it run and wait for the rollover. So in that sense, it's more about what conditions are we looking for to sell as opposed to what exact TP target are we predicting. So with that, we're going to wrap it up for today. That is a good old 1 hour stream. I hope you all enjoyed it. And thanks for showing up and coming out, and tell your friends.
All right. See you guys.
See you next week.